We gotta start off with Laporta, Joan Laporta, president of Barcelona. He has came out and went a little bit more full, like give us a little bit more of a perspective from him on why he has sacked Xavi. It's been a crazy few couple of months for Barcelona. Xavi a few months ago announcing he will be leaving at the end of the season, and Barcelona going on a good run, doing pretty well. Playing really well in the Champions League, only getting eliminated because of a red card. And they were eventually able to reconcile. Joan Laporta and the Barcelona board were able to convince Xavi to stay on. Xavi was convinced and he stayed on. And then, some fallout happened near the end of the season. Xavi made some comments regarding their financial capabilities. And now, it wasn't, it was rumored that really rubbed the wrong way. And that rumor actually ended up being correct. And Xavi was sacked. And it's an interesting situation. We've discussed this for a long time. We've even had many a Barcelona fan on in previous episodes to discuss it. But today we're gonna go even more depth. Barcelona president Joan Laporta, he revealed that the doubts regarding the squad in the current squad was really the reason why they sacked him. Joan Laporta. Xavi, during those renegotiations a few months ago, during those time where they were trying to convince him, Joan Laporta was trying to convince Xavi to stay on. Apparently, Xavi Hernandez told him that he believes in this current squad, and it seemed like that there was that was false, and that Xavi didn't genuinely believe in the current squad. And that's it. He also during this press conference he also confirmed that they want to extend João Felix and João Cancelo, who are both on loans, and they also want to sign a midfielder and a winger. And he talked about how the club's financial situation will not stop them from making from being able to get the world's best players. Keep in mind, Xavi did come out near the end of the season discussing their financial issues as a concern for the club, and really was trying to lower the expectation for their next season. And that's also something that also continued to rub Joan Laporta and the Barcelona ports the wrong way. Just to give you a little bit more of a timeline, Xavi announced in January that he's going to step down, and then he reversed his decision in April, and then 3 weeks later after that, Laporta has decided to fire him. Just shows the emotional roller coaster that runs this club, and it's just too much going back and forth for a club of this stature, for a club that's really trying to catch a Real Madrid that have been completely dominating Europe at this point, winning their 15th Champions League, and just signing arguably, one of the best players the best player in the world, if not one of the best players in the world. If you look at it based on this past season, Real Madrid probably have the two best players in the world on their team with Vinicius and Mbappe. And that's a very difficult task for Barcelona to be able to compete with them. But we'll discuss, Hansi Flick coming in a little bit later. Now, Laporta, during his press conference, he said, "If Xavi can change his mind, so can we." Laporta said in not in a press conference, in an interview with one of the news sources in the Catalan area. He also said everything was a bit forced when we decided to keep him on. Xavi is a club legend, and his enthusiasm led us to the decision to ratify his position. At the time of his U-turn, I asked him, "Do you believe in the team?" He told me yes. He said he had faith in this team. However, there were then comments in which he changed his discourse after conversations with Barcelona sporting director Deco with respect to necessary changes to the squad. That forced me to reconsider the situation, and I felt the squad needed a new impetus to be more competitive and get the best of what we have. I have to make these tough decisions with Barca legends. My heart told me he should stay on, but not my head. I hope our relationship can continue. I've been through it with Koeman, Messi, Piqué, Busquets, Alba, and now Xavi. All decisions are made all decisions are made for the good of Barcelona. The club comes first. Yeah, that's a lot to take from. My main issues is his lack of belief in the squad, Xavi's lack of belief in the squad. Is that really a enough to fire him, especially after 3 weeks before wanting him to stay on, convincing him to stay on? Is that right there enough to say, I want, it's time to sack? I think that's incredibly harsh, and again, I think Joan Laporta and this Barcelona board in general, I don't want to put everything on him, but majority is on him. It just, he, what's the word? He's emotionally on a roller coaster when he's making these sort of decisions, and that's not for the good of the club. He says he's looking out for the club, but there needs to be a little bit more support around him that doesn't make him make these emotional decisions, because that's what it is, flat out. It is him not believing in the squad, or him feeling betrayed about Xavi lying during the discussion earlier. It's just wrong, and it's weird to me. And I think I really think Xavi is getting done a raw deal, and this is the club that he was a legendary player for. So you would think that there would be some sort of respect there in the way Barcelona would deal with it. Barcelona treated Xavi like they would have treated any other manager. I think the treatment of Xavi was probably worse than Ronald Koeman, or any manager beforehand. I mean, it's just a joke to me. But to move away from that, hiring Hansi Flick is hiring a good manager. This is a Hansi Flick that has won Bundesliga, has won Champions League with Bayern Munich. He's done a remarkable job at Bayern Munich, getting them to play this style of play, this high intensity, pressing high, winning the ball high off the field, playing an incredibly high line of high intensity game, playing some beautiful, beautiful football that they've played with Hansi Flick. So bringing a guy like him in is, a great addition. But you cannot, you can't overlook the treatment of Xavi and the unfairness of Xavi being sacked based on comments that he made or based on his lack of belief in squad. You can, I'm gonna praise this decision to hire Hansi Flick, but at the same time, you could criticize how Xavi was treated in that whole process of Xavi. Now, Laporta also discussed Hansi Flick. He said Flick feels capable of competing with the squad. That was decisive. Flick's task is to win, and he's accepted the challenge. The players must be well prepared physically. The youngsters, the substitutes, players like Lewandowski, everyone has to be in good shape physically. The physical preparation is essential because with that and having the ball, we can win everything. The season we saw the team dip after the 60th minute physically. We didn't finish games as we wanted in the two Clásicos, for example. I'm not saying the team was not well prepared, but there are always things to improve. We need more. I want to highlight they need to be in good shape physically because the Hansi Flick way, the way that they played at Bayern, it's a different game, and it's a different game based on what Barcelona has done over the last decade. Going all the way back to Rijkaard, and always honestly, every style of play that Barcelona has had all ties back to the Johan Cruyff era, with the possession oriented style of play, and then Pep Guardiola took it to the next level. It's all possession oriented, tiki taka, moving the ball, creating space by keeping the ball, and moving it, one touch passing, just moving it from side to side and wearing out defenses. That's what Barcelona has generally been. That's the style of play. But Hansi Flick, this is totally different. There's no the creativity is important, but the emphasis of creativity with this setup compared to the tiki tac setup is, it's way less. There's a heavy reliance on pressing in this setup, winning the ball high up the field, relying that as your major form of playmaking. So it's an interesting transition that this club is gonna make, and I'm very excited to see how it goes, if the Barcelona players buy in, and most importantly, if the Barcelona fans are they willing to accept this new style of play, which I believe they will if they get the results.